Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.
The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
So much talk in Vancouver has been about Elias Pettersson. So much so that we forgot about the other Elias Lindholm. And hey, it's easy to forget about this guy because guess what? He's not playing very well. So what's going on with Elias Lindholm? Find out next on Locked On Canucks.
Dude, another guy who needs to go check out Amsterdam Cafe ASAP, man. Be one with Vancouver and watch what happens, all right? One love.
You're Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Locked On Canucks. My name is Trevor Beggs, co-host of Locked On Canucks and also a Canucks writer over at Daily Hive Vancouver. Before we dive into today's episode, we got to thank you for tuning in to Locked On Canucks because it is your team. No, scratch that. Your Canucks every day. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you go subscribe or follow us for free on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts. Also, got to let you know today's episode brought to you by our friends over at Game Time. Download that Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. On today's episode of Locked On Canucks, it's time to talk about Elias Lindholm. It has been 1 month since we traded for the guy. He's been 12. He's now 12 games into his Canucks career. And I think over the first month, the results have been pretty underwhelming. He's now no longer with Pettersson, now the third line center of this hockey team. What is going on with Elias Lindholm? That's what we're going to lead the show with today. I also want to talk about the Canucks, basically being the Philadelphia Flyers of the 1970s. Maybe not quite that far, but they're one of the most penalized teams in the league of late, and it's been costing them. So we'll talk about the issues there and who the main culprits are. And finally, let's end on a positive note. I want to talk about one reason for optimism based on 2011.
Oh, there you go again, man.
It's not going where you think it's going to go. It's not going where you think it's going to go. Wait till the end of the episode to hear what I'm talking about. Speaking of talking, let me introduce my co-host who, we don't always like each other, but we love each other. Kyle Bauer, brother.
That's so true, man. That's so true. It was love at first sight, man. Not gonna front. That's another story for another day. Maybe the live show, okay? And maybe we'll do the live show at the Amsterdam Cafe. Who knows? Again, home of the West Coast bias, and if we're being honest, that place is very Vancouver culture, and more notably, very friendly. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, Kyle Bauer and Trevor Beggs doing this, and again, that's Locked On Canucks. Brought to you by the network, the people, you and you, by Kyle and Trevor, and the Don't Doze Art Lab, right? Because we love the West Coast bias here at the Don't Doze Art Lab, okay? We've been leaning into that for years and years and years and years, and now days and days and days and days, and even more tomorrows. Speaking of tomorrow, big game for Elias Lindholm. I think it's coming. I think it has to happen. Maybe I'm more desperate than rational right now. And I got to put it out there because I think it's time. It's been 12 games, this whole 1 month in, right? The reason why you want to get a guy like Lindholm early, a month before the deadline, is because you want to give him this grace period, right? You want to ease him in. Well, the time is over. It's time to go. This team's a first place team. Well, trying to be a first place team, trying to do big things. And JT Miller needs a little bit of help right now. It's the truth. Now, we can talk about the assets we gave up for Lindholm, but let's just compete. Let's just do it. Let's just elevate. And Lindholm, I think, needs to level up, okay? Last time I checked, I didn't think the Canucks gave up assets for a really good third-line center, okay? They didn't give up all that for a really good third-line center. It's not like we got Samuel Paulson in the building, okay? It's time to level up.
Yeah, Samuel Paulson. Yeah, he cost maybe a third-round pick at the time. Yeah, again, the Canucks gave up a hefty package for Elias Lindholm. And despite them giving up the hefty package, Kyle, I know you and I were definitely on board with this trade. And I think most of the Canucks Nation was too. Yeah, and I think that's a great point, right? Again, we're 1 month in. Lindholm, he's kind of struggled. He's got 4 goals and 6 points in 12 games. both of his 4 goals, they came in 2 games, right? He had 2 goals in his
Yeah.
first game on the power play with Carolina, and then 2 goals against Detroit with a couple of goals, which were really just Elias Pettersson working his magic.
Yeah. So do the math, Trevor.
Not
Do the
much-
math. That's goals in 2 games. How many goals in 2 games? He's been in
Yeah.
for 12. How many games does he have points in? 4?
Yeah, he has. Yeah, his points in 4 of his 12 games. Exactly. And again, this is a player who had 40 goals, who had 80 points, who knew how to put up points, who had succeeded playing with good players. But now, the problem with what we've seen from Lindholm over the past couple games is, I get the logic where the Canucks were losing. You want to shake things up. You slide Lindholm in the third line center. It's like, oh, wow, look at this great center depth. You got Miller, you got Pettersson, you got Lindholm. Well, you know what wasn't working in Calgary? Was Lindholm playing with mediocre line mates. And, no offense to the Connor Garlands, the RC Baines of the world. But Lindholm has succeeded, played his best hockey playing with stars. So he jumped around the lineup at the beginning. He had a bit of consistency there with Pettersson and Höglander. Then all of a sudden, Canucks start losing games. They shake things up again. And again, not to criticize the Canucks for shaking things up. You got to try something different when you're losing. But we've seen from very recent history that Lindholm has just not worked when playing, with middle 6 line mates. Put this guy with the star players if you want to get the most out of him. And that's why I want to see a longer rope with either the Swedish line or with, JT Miller, Brock Besser.
I want to see a longer rope with Pettersson and Höglander. And I get it. You're coming off of that Seattle game where things really needed to change, right? Because the effort wasn't there and Taka got pissed off and boom, bam. He made drastic moves. All in all, though, it's been 2 games with Garland and Baines, and not a liability. I mean, yesterday they weren't the best defensively, but all in all, just not sexy enough, not efficient enough. Okay, not close to execution. And when you're giving up that much, you need Lindholm not to be the player that he was in Calgary this season. You give up that much to get that prime time Lindholm, and the Canucks need that. And I think he only finds that, like you said, if he's around better players. Now, Trevor, we've barely touched on this. I feel like you've brushed off of this because, I'm all over the place and I ask you 5 questions when I think we're supposed to do this the other way around, right? One at a time. Do you think a move like this has more to do with Dakota Joshua missing and you just being open to mixing things up in your bottom 6, right? Because the chemistry with Bluger and Garland is really glued together with Joshua, it seems like? Or does it have more to do with Tocchet, again, being up in the standings and just wanting to experiment? Like him using this as a bit of a, February, the dog days of the year, to look at some other things before he makes his final decisions?
I think it's both, but I think it's primarily Joshua being out of the lineup. I don't think there is... Now, that's an interesting point. So the Canucks lost 4 in a row with the third line still doing their thing. I think Tocchet still shakes it up. But do they lose 4 in a row with the third line doing their thing? Probably not, right? Cause and effect. So, I think it's primarily Joshua being gone. And again, who would have thought that Dakota Joshua being gone from this lineup would create, this much of a hole? Because the fourth line's been sputtering. The third line, again, middling. We've liked some flashes from RC Baines. I thought last night was probably his worst game in the NHL. Not to say he was bad, but, there was just some puck chasing going on there. And again, Lindholm, despite being a high-profile player, wasn't doing anything to elevate his line mates either. So, I think one of the interesting things about Lindholm, and this kind of points to me how, mediocre he's been, but, one of the stats I brought up in the show is game score, right? Which takes into account everything from goals, assists to your possession metrics. Elias Lindholm has the 3rd worst game score among all Canucks this season. Only Nils Amon and Phil DiGiuseppe have a lower game score than Elias Lindholm. That shows me that the guy's been struggling.
Yeah. Well, obviously you made my head hurt. What are those calculations? Okay, for real. I want you to explain that game score equation again, but let me tell the people again. Okay, so back in the day when Trevor and I were doing some podcasting, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna level up. I'm gonna level up. I think it was Harmon or Faber, one of these guys. They might have been talking about a book called Stat Book or Stat Shot. I brought it to me to Columbia. It was like a hockey fancy stat dictionary. Okay, I brought it with me to Columbia. Said I was gonna level up during the summer, and what did I do? I forgot the book in Medellin. Okay, So somebody in Colombia is learning more and more about hockey. Okay, well, what's game score again? Describe that, then ask me a question off of that because I might get emotional here.
All right, but this is sound like a Trevor's trivia moment. But yeah, game score really takes into account, again, your actual stats, which are goals, assists, plus minus, all that stuff. Your impact on the power play and the penalty kill in terms of goals for against. But one of the big changes is it takes into account expected goals. And maybe Kyle, I'll throw it to you, the difference between goals and expected goals. But expected goals makes up a big part of it. So that's a measure of, how many scoring chances you're on the ice for.
It's the eye test. It's the eye test, bro. Game scores eye test. Just say that, Trevor. You don't got to create jobs, You can just, come on, man. Say it's the eye test. Yo, we want more from Elias Lindholm. More quote-unquote play driving. We're not asking this guy to be the Nikita Kucherov. No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that. But bring more to the table. Again, the Canucks didn't trade for Samuel Paulson. They didn't. Good, reliable third. Like, they didn't trade for Manuel Holtra. You know what I'm saying? I understand this guy's good on the faceoffs. He's a good penalty killer, but they gave up a lot of capital, and you can argue that maybe if they gave up a little bit more, they could have just got a Jake Ensel. They need Lindholm to be effective. And again, I'm all on board with this guy. He's a really good player. In fact, the way the Canucks play successful hockey within their system has a lot to do with being intelligent, being able to come up with the puck a lot more during those 50-50 battles, right? Being strong. Lindholm's all those guys. They want to be a possession team. Face-off wins. The recipe is there, but it's also clear that he needs to level up. Both things can be true. And I feel as if the Canucks can really only get to June if that happens.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Again, there's a lot to like about this player. I think, metrics haven't been kind on the penalty kill, but I've liked some of his work on the penalty kill in terms of breaking up passes, getting the puck out of the zone. He's been a stud in the face-off circle for the Vancouver Canucks. So, again, the floor is high with Elias Lindholm. Elias Lindholm. That's been said before. And I think we've seen that high floor, the face-off proficiency, the penalty killing. But this guy is supposed to be a top 6 forward on this team. You need the guy to produce offense. You need him to be contributing on the power play.
We need
Joshua
back.
Gave up the Hall.
Yeah, we need Joshua back, man. I can't believe we got to this point, dude. Canucks losers of 5 of 6. How many games did Dakota Joshua play during this 6-game stumble? Exactly. I can't believe it, man. Well, because think about it, right? The Canucks were winning some games there. They're being successful. They're finding different ways to win. Boom, bam, right? Throughout the whole season. But the one problem with that scenario / realization was they weren't getting any consistency offensively 5-on-5 from their top 2 lines. Like, there was only one line working, and that was the Joshua line. Since that's disappeared, it's kind of put, a much clearer lens on something that has to get situated ASAP, and that's, just finding line mates for the other Elias. You know what I'm saying? And making it work. Because wasn't that the point of this? To make sure those two, a.k.a. make sure Pettersson had somebody to play with.
Yeah. And you know what? I still think the Canucks should go back to that, Kyle. I completely agree with you. You look at even the puck possession metrics. I think they've been strong. I think that line has had a lot of good zone time. I don't think McCabe necessarily deserves to be up there. And plus, you still got Bluger and Suter in the lineup. Like, you don't have to, if you want to scratch them on, you could still have a pretty 4 deep down the middle if you want to do that with Bluger and Suter as your bottom 2 centers. So, I completely agree. Keep Lindholm with Elias Pettersson. Let them cook. Let them figure it out. I know Taka wants to experiment because they're the best team in the NHL. They have some breathing room. But I think it's pretty important to get Elias Lindholm going for playoff time.
It's pretty important for the Canucks to get going. Okay. It's pretty important for the Canucks to get going right now. Okay. Because it's been 5-6 and a lot of tough games are ahead of us. And it's it's over. The struggle has to be over. It can't continue like this. The Canucks can't be, we'll talk about this later. They can't continue to be the most undisciplined team in hockey. They can't continue to just blow leads because now they've done it twice in a week, looking like the old Canucks. That's got to stop. It's got to stop. No more experimenting, okay? Talk it, just, let's win some games.
Let's win some games. And like you said, Kyle, incredibly undisciplined hockey of late. Let's touch on that here on the other side. Again, let us know in the comments, what do you think is the solution with Elias Lindholm? Is it just wait and see? Should he be with Pettersson? Do you have another suggestion for him? let us know in the comments on Twitter, wherever you interact with us. We'd love to hear from you. Speaking of people we love to hear from, our sponsors, baby. We ain't here without our sponsors. So we got to shout a couple of them out, starting with Game Time. All right, so the Valentine's Day season has come and gone, and you know what? It's not a bad idea to fork out some money for your significant other on tickets. And if you're looking for best deals on last-minute tickets, go to Game Time, okay? I was talking to my girl about it, okay? We want to see some Canucks playoff hockey. And, you know, with Game Time, that's the place to go because they have event protection cancellation, and they have flash deals on last-minute tickets. And you know what else they got? A lowest price guarantee, okay? So that's why my wife, she's okay with Nicole at Game Time sending me emails, always teasing me with concerts and events this week in my area. You know why she was okay with it? Because it's the best deal out there on Game Time, baby, okay?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, if you want to buy something other than hockey, you can also get exclusive flash deals for tickets on football, basketball, baseball, theater, and more, okay? Now, I have no choice but to go out for a night on the town with my girl. Let's go. So make sure you snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Okay, we back doing our thing. Talking about your Vancouver Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. That guy right there, the second best dad in the world. Trevor Beggs, man. Unreal, man. Unreal. It's game 61, and I think you and I have watched, what, one game together? Half a game together? Have we watched one game together? Do the math.
One, maybe? Shoot.
Damn, bro.
Oh, you know what?
Friends.
We were both at the ring for a game, but that wasn't together. Damn, that's crazy.
Dude, think about that, man. Fake friends, bro. Come on. Are we just colleagues now? Are we just Canucks podcasters together? We're not friends anymore? Come on, man.
Well,
it ain't that serious.
yeah,
It ain't that deep, Trevor.
I chose my family over you and Locked On Canucks, so I do apologize for that. But hear me out. So Bachelor Life is upcoming. Late March.
What?
I got about a week to myself while my wife and the kids go to Edmonton to see family. So that last week of March, we should watch every game together. Make up for some lost time.
Beautiful, man. Hopefully the Canucks are playing a lot better at that time. They will. Okay, you know what? They will. Okay, look at Richard. Okay, Canucks fans worry too much. Look, I'm not worried. I'm positive. I made a video about it too. Like, how come yesterday's loss didn't hurt me that much? Like, how come I wasn't swearing? How come I wasn't calling you at 10:30 at night, venting, trying to figure out how we just blew another 2-goal lead? It's because I don't think I'm overly confident. I just trust this team. Okay, this team is actually playing a lot better 5-on-5. They're just losing games more often than not right now because they're choosing to make it too hard on themselves. Like, why is this team becoming so undisciplined? Okay, well, it's Talkett maybe touched on this a bit, saying that they're tired, and being a little tired may lead you to have to use your stick more, right, to get the puck, to win the puck back. But man, oh man, it's got to switch up fast. The Canucks aren't losing to teams; they're really just losing to themselves, and maybe that's why, again, I'm not that worried because I feel as if that's a situation or a predicament they can fix.
Yeah, 100%. And it has been rough though over the past month, right? You look at the Canucks, and since the end of the All-Star break, the Canucks have taken 59 penalties. That is tops in the NHL.
Ooh.
And there are a lot of penalties going on at both ends of the ice for the Vancouver Canucks. So they're actually drawing a fair amount of penalties too. They're actually 10th overall in the All-Star break in drawing penalties, but they're last overall penalties taken, fourth last if you want to go penalties taken per 60. But yeah, at the end of the day, they've taken a ton of penalties. And another crazy stat too is since the end of the All-Star break, only 2 Canucks have gone without taking a minor penalty, and that's Ilya Mikheyev and Nils Amon. Every single other Canuck has taken a minor penalty. The leaders are JT Miller and Nikita Zadorov, both have 6. Höglander, Myers, and Cole each have 5. Teddy Bluger has 4, and then a handful of 2 and 1. So, but your main culprits are the guys I just listed. Kyle, you and I have talked about Teddy Bluger takes some bad penalties. I think Nils Höglander is another guy who he's gotten in trouble, maybe been a bit too aggressive. And then you have Zadorov, Myers, and Cole. And I'm going to ask you this because I'm curious if you're concerned about it come playoff time, because coming into the season, we had Myers, Susie, Zadorov, and Cole were all top 10 in terms of minor penalties taken over the past couple of seasons.
Oh.
Does that concern you come playoff time that we're going to be shorthanded way more than we should be?
Yo, should we forward that stat right to the Vancouver Canucks? Because do they know that? Do they know that?
I would hope so.
Damn, bro.
If us two bozos know that and they don't, then there's bigger problems going on.
Unbelievable. Okay, Tyler Myers. How about Myers yesterday? Okay, taking the dumbest penalty I've seen in a while, and then having the audacity to tell the refs that it was his stick, bro. Come on, man. They got cameras. It's 2024, bro. You ain't playing in 1926, bro. Okay, when I saw that, when I saw him doing that, I personally speaking, because that guy is an honest dude, right? He's like a true pro. I feel as if him blatantly lying to the people and willing to do so just goes to show you that he's not on it right now. Like, he's kind of unraveling too, and it goes back to Carson Soucy, right? I know you just mentioned him being a highly penalized player, but man, oh man, it's what, game 15, game 20 without him post this second injury, and bro, do the math, right? Do your calculations. I think it's pretty evident that he's missed right now, because the Canucks, another reason why they're taking penalties is because they're taking a bit longer getting out of their zone. They're just not as clean with it, and you can only squeeze the most out of Zadorov, Myers, and Juleson in your decor for so long.
Yeah. Yep. No, I think that's a great point. And, you know, with Tyler Myers, I think, again, we mentioned on the show, every day is no. The fact that this coaching staff revived Tyler Myers' career.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Respectable top four defenseman is unreal. But yeah, there has been a bit of slippage lately, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, overall, I just, you know, there's things you like about the defense, and I do think a lot of it goes back to structure. You know, they defend the middle of the ice very, very well.
Yeah.
So it makes the defensemen look better. But you're still seeing mistakes from Myers, Zadorov, Juleson, Cole. Like, you know, those are all your bottom four defensemen. And yeah, they all come with flaws, man. Again, they're not perfect players. You know, I know you hate when I bring up 2011, but I want to ask you this, because I found this interesting, and it's on my mind. I wrote an article about, you know, 2011 Canucks compared to today's Canucks today for Daily Hive. The 2011 Canucks had a solid top four, right? There was Ham, Hughes, Bieksa, Edler, Ehrhoff. These Canucks have a solid top two, and then, you know, there's a pretty big drop off to the bottom four. Now, with obviously Hughes, Hronek, and then Myers, Cole, Zadorov, Juleson. Does that concern you at all? Like, do you? Like,
No,
I've talked
man.
about before, I think the Canucks are the top four defensemen, but you seem pretty bullish on this decor getting it done.
I am, because I'm a hopeful man, dude. 30 and a half years old, bro. And, you know, I just envision guys like Soucy to continue to play over his value. Now, I know he's been injured a lot, so now we got to see if he can do it post-injury again. And he was able to do it the first time, and that's, again, exceed expectations, look really good. Come on. He's kind of looked like a $4 million defenseman. He just plays a smooth game, great skater, does his thing. And I hope that kind of raises our floor. And also the fact that in the playoffs, when you have guys like Hronek and Hughes, you know what I'm saying? Those guys play half the D minutes. So I'm hoping on a lot of things. I know, man. Okay, so the Canucks, and you guys just stop taking penalties. Stop shooting yourself in the foot. The tired excuse. Come on, man. You guys had a couple days rest. I think. I read something in that book, Relentless. Okay, and it was the last chapter. And the Canucks haven't won a championship. I know, but the chapter was talking about how some players, after winning championships, take their foot off the pedal. And I've said this so many times, and I'm sure Talk gets said it a million more times, but the only way for the Canucks to win games consistently, because it's not really enriched in them, right? This is like year one. It's not part of their culture to figure out or generate wins on the regular. The only way for them to do so is by outworking your opponents, no matter what. Like, every shift, players out there have to understand that and just follow through with it. And right now, what I'm seeing, I think they're working hard. Like, they played better 5-on-5, all that jazz. But there's more spurts within the game where I feel as if these players are trying to do other things rather than work hard. Like they're trying to make other plays. They're trying to, again, get away with something. Even little things like getting away with something, getting your stick in there, cheating a little. It's like, dude, don't be lazy. Don't take a second off. Don't be undisciplined. Yo, and another thing, Vancouver Canucks players, watch all your actions with the sticks, okay? Come on, the referees hate you. They hate you. They hate you. No, honestly speaking, bro, there's a big reason why we're the most penalized team post All-Star Game 2. It's because what Myers said a couple Saturdays ago. It's the truth. They got to be extra disciplined right now. Straight up.
Yeah. Yeah, can't be cross-checking people in the face. Going, oh, what happened? What did I do?
Yeah.
Hopefully they figure it out. I know I have my concerns, but we'll see where it goes here in the month of March. Speaking of the month of March, I do want to talk about something quick on the other side about the 2011 Canucks, what happened in February going into March. And hey, maybe there could be something similar in store for these Canucks as they try to be the best regular season team in NHL, in Canucks history, I should say. Freudian slip, perhaps? Who knows? We'll talk about that on the other side after shouting out two sponsors, FanDuel and eBay Motors. All right, make sure you get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Bet on all your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same-game parlays, exclusive props, and more. Just visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and shoot your shot. And hey, this ain't NBA, but it's NHL. I shot my shot yesterday. I had one of those little 5-game parlays. You can do those parlays too on FanDuel, of course. And I picked 5 different NHL teams to win last night. And the only team that didn't win were the Vancouver Canucks. Unbelievable stuff. But
wow.
Yeah, if you're in the game, man, you know what those losses are like. But of course, if you want to go win a few bucks, make sure you go do so with FanDuel. Again, get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 moneyline bet. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA.
Boom, bam, dude. If the Canucks won, dude, Christmas would have came early for your family, man. You could have been everyone's favorite. That's just the truth. Who you shouting out here? eBay Motors? Boom,
eBay
bam.
Motors, baby. Let's go. All right. Passion, drive, and patience. That's what brings home the winning trophy. And it's also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your #1 ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, baby. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive today at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit only available to U.S. customers.
Okay, we back talking your Vancouver Canucks. My name is Kyle Bowen. That right there is Trevor Beggs. And bro, I can't believe it, man. This is episode 500 of us doing this? Not really, but it's been a while, okay? And we're so bad at promoting. How come it took to the 28-minute mark for me to tell the people that, we're giving away 2 tickets. 2 tickets to the Canucks game against the Kings at the end of the month, March 25th. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Boom, bam. And also, you have to be a part of our Discord family, okay? We're going to start talking a lot about the Canucks whenever, wherever, because I can use Discord when I'm on my toilet, dude. Anyways, the link to my Discord is in the bio. You got to subscribe to this channel and the Discord. Boom, bam, you qualify to win some tickets. Can you message me too when you join the Discord? And for everyone listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, blah, 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 the audio listeners, subscribe to the Discord. If you're not watching this on YouTube, and just message me, okay? One love. Enter to win some tickets. Beggsy, man, oh man. The comments popping off today, man. We got the best fans in the world. We got the best fans in the world. I'm going to say this. Everyone watching this right now, bro, we're going to take this thing to the moon, okay? To the moon. We're definitely hitting you guys up with live shows. And I promise the people, okay? Listen to me. I promise the people, I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that at our live events, all drinks are $5. Boom, bam. Okay, you heard it here first. Okay? Straight up. And if you don't drink, bro, well, what else? Well, all hot dogs. Hot dogs. $2. Actually, $1.50. There you go. You heard it here first, man. We're the place to be. Anyways, Begsy, Bowen, Locked On Canucks, and the people, man. Think about the people, man. Look at some of these comments, man. Unreal, dude. Look at this. Dr. Haas, okay? Pettersson is so inconsistent, okay? Falls all over the ice. Doesn't cover for Hughes on the point on the power play. We are way better off without him. Trade him for a top 6 forward, a pick, and a defenseman. All right, man. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Let's trade Pettersson for who should we get? Who should we get for Pettersson, man? Top 6 forward? Who's that? Who's that? Should we get, I don't know, somebody. Who's the guy?
Well, I mean, it's funny. I didn't want to bring it up when we did the show on Monday, but the one team I thought about if Pettersson were to be traded again, completely hypothetical, would be Carolina.
Oh my God! Can you stop doing this? No, I was joking. I was joking, dude.
Oh my God, man!
I was joking, dude. Okay. Trevor wants to trade Pettersson for Justin Williams.
No.
First round pick.
I'm not saying trade him. I'm not saying trade him. I'm just saying that would be a team that would probably step up and make a crazy offer.
Don't fall for the negative, man. Okay, look at Richard. Okay, I look for positives. Too much Canucks media, aka Trevor Beggs. Look at this guy. He looks like Mr. Media over here. Focuses on all the negative BS. That's why I like this channel. Trevor, man, you're something else.
You don't even know what I was going to bring up for this 2011 thing. Okay,
like, bring it up. Bring it up.
A positive thing. Okay, so
bring it up.
I wanted to bring this up because obviously the Canucks have had a not great month of February. Okay, lost 5 of their last 6 games. A bit of a slide from the heights they were at in January, where they had 1 regulation loss in 13, 14 games there. Interestingly enough, the 2011 Canucks also didn't have a great February. It was one of their worst stretches of the season. They basically went win-loss through the entire month of February. You know what they did after that? They won 14 of their final 18 games to win the President's Trophy, lock up top spot in the NHL, and of course, go on to give these fans one of the most magical runs in franchise history. So, to Richard's point, to the negative media, like your guy Begsy, don't worry. It's going to be all good. Again, the Canucks got a tough schedule coming up. They got a lot of home games. They got something to play for, right? Edmonton. I think Winnipeg actually has a better poise percentage than Vancouver right now. Edmonton obviously is still a threat. Vegas is still a threat to take over the division. So Vancouver's got something to play for, and I think they're going to have a big end of the season here. And right now they are, because of the losing slide, they're a couple points off of the pace of the 2011 team. But if they won their next 2 games, they'd be exactly on the same pace as the 2011 team.
Dude,
so
look at you, Mr. Calculator.
I'm curious to see what happens, man.
Look at you, man. Look at Mr. Whale, okay? Trevor, go back to Sportsnet with that attitude, okay? The article's coming, okay? Why the Canucks should trade Elias Pettersson this weekend. And why they should be looking at draft picks and not players. That's Trevor's... Come on, bro. Trevor,
I'm a literal guy. You asked a question. Give you top 6 forward.
Unreal, dude.
Let's give you a team.
Look at Dr. Haas, man. 2011, and that team is way better than the current team. I don't believe that, man. You know why? Because I don't want to believe it. This season's going to be the best season ever. And a guy like JT Miller and a guy like Elias Pettersson and obviously a guy like Quinn Hughes, they're going to be forever immortalized. Is that the word? Immortalized? What's the... Okay, there you go. I'm doing my thing. Okay, let's end off with some more comments before we get out of here. Look at this. Okay, JS, commenter of the year. What's the status on Joshua? Okay, me and Trevor, we're not that tapped in, okay? I don't know. I'm not at the rink. That being said, Trevor, would you defend me? Like, let's say somebody was, all I'm saying is we're downtown doing our thing, having a good old time. And somebody comes up to me, it's like, yo, I hate the Canucks and I hate the Packers. So that means I hate you. And he gives me the 1-2. Are you going to defend me and risk breaking a finger on my behalf? Because if you break a finger, you know what's going to happen, right? You can't hold your baby. Think about that.
I'm a team first guy, buddy. Fingers will heal, broken bones will heal, but not standing up for a bro. That's something that you'll never get over.
Ooh, okay. That's something else. I like that answer, man. Okay, then we also had somebody, I think it was Andrew, who's saying he's going to his first game in 30 years. First game in 30 years. It's a beautiful thing, man. I hope you have the greatest time ever, and I hope the Canucks win, and just soak it all in, man. Those are the moments you live for. I still feel like a kid every time I go to the rink, man. When you walk in to the rink part, the actual rink, and you just see the Jumbotron, something just happens to my heart, man. And I remember it wasn't too long ago, literally last year, where I was never excited to go to Rogers Arena. In fact, I was getting offered free tickets all the time. 12 months ago, 16 months ago, 24 months ago, all the time. I offered free tickets, and I'm like, yo, I'm not paying for parking. I'm not. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
Yeah. What's even crazier than that is that the Canucks are the first place team in the NHL. But believe it, baby, because they have been solid. And yeah, you know what? Every team's got to go through adversity. Canucks going through some adversity right now. But onwards and upwards for this team. Again, we're over a week away from the trade deadline. Patrick Allvin, that article came out from Chris Faber, our buddy. He's still working the phones. Apparently, Chris Faber said the phone's going off every 9 minutes. So we'll see what happens between now and the deadline. Kyle, maybe we'll talk about some other deadline targets. I know one of the popular things right now is guys who still have some term left. I know we've talked about some of those guys. Maybe we'll talk about some of them later on this week. Kyle, what else do you want to talk about this week, man? What do we want to tease for the people?
I want to talk about some wins, man. I want to talk about us putting the LA Kings in the dirt. That's what I want to talk about, okay? For real. Let's bury them. Give them no confidence. Let's turn them into sellers. Straight up, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want. I want wins. I don't want to talk about new players coming in. I just want Phil Kessel, and we'll be fine. And yo, we got to say it. Yo, RC Baines, you got to start putting up some points, man. You're going to be playing in the top 9? You know what I'm saying? Everyone's got to be accountable, man. Let's go.
Let's go. And speaking of going, let's get out of here. Shout out to the everydayers, the occasional listeners, first-time listeners, new subscribers, and those of you, of course, who join us on the live show. We love each and every one of you, your families, your dogs, and your pet rocks as well. More Canucks talk always. Again, here on Locked On Canucks, your Canucks every day. Trades, rumors, game analysis, a bit of BS in there as well, of course. Banter and satire, that's what we're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Coming up on another episode of Locked On Canucks. But for now, I'm Trevor Beggs. That guy's Kyle Bowen, and you've been listening to Locked On Canucks.
Dr. Haas wants us to speak some Punjabi, okay? So tomorrow's episode is in full Punjabi. Straight up. Get ready for it, okay? Straight up. Have a great one, guys. Peace.
Man, we're going to have a lot of fun tonight in Vancouver, all my real fans.